I didn't know too much about these things, so being like a youngster that I was, and I was like already into my Celica, I started looking at like the history of Celicas. And then I saw this and I was like, dang man, I have to have one of those. And it was like forever me looking, and no one would there wasn't one in good shape, or else it wasn't the correct year. I didn't want like a 76, 77, or I didn't want a lift back. I wanted like the pre-smog one. And then, yeah, I wanted pre-75, so right opportunity came and I souped it right up.
All right, everyone, welcome back to Automotive Anatomy. Today we have David. David, thank you so much for reaching out.
No problem.
It's quite the treat because you have a younger individual who's into an older car. So we like that because that means that this car is going to stay on the road a little bit longer. So thank you so much for reaching out to me, man. Tell us, man, what do you drive?
I drive a 74 Toyota Celica GT.
Damn, 74. So tell us, how did you stumble upon the 74 Celica, man?
Just looking up on Craigslist like forever and a day, like for years on end. Ever since I got out of high school, I've been looking for one. And then the right opportunity came up. I didn't really have much money, but I could buy it, so it wasn't like the best thing to look at, but it was a project, picked it up, and here we go.
So why is Celica specifically?
It was my high school car. I had a Celica back in high school.
What year?
2002.
Okay, so you had a newer Celica.
I had a newer Celica, and I didn't know too much about these things, so being like a youngster that I was, and I was like already into my Celica, I started looking at like the history of Celicas. And then I saw this and I was like, dang man, I have to have one of those. And it was like forever me looking, and no one would there wasn't one in good shape, or else it wasn't the correct year. I didn't want like a 76, 77, or I didn't want a lift back. I wanted like the pre-smog one. And then, yeah, I wanted pre-75, so right opportunity came and I souped it right up.
Nice, okay. How did you get started in cars?
Man, just friends. Like once I had my Celica in high school, I would go to friends' houses, and then they would be fixing up their cars, and I was just barely learning how to drive stick too. And I was like, oh man, that's pretty cool. Like they would all gather up, would go like to the mountains and stuff, and it was more like just getting familiar with friends. And then next thing you know, they're like, hey, why don't you put this on your car, put that on your car? I'm like, yeah. And then they got me all into the scene, and then from there on, it's history, man.
That's cool. So then let's back it up. So you pick up the Celica. What was your vision for it?
I didn't really know. I just know I wanted a nice Celica. I didn't really have a vision for it. I didn't know too much about the old school Celicas. I didn't know really like how to do much engine work, much of anything really. And this car kind of put me on my platform on game. Yeah, like I rebuilt the whole engine in this car, took it out of a junkyard motor, rebuilt it, and then it's a 20R head off of a 78 Corona and a 22R block off of a 82 Celica.
Wow. Now,
yeah.
So prior to this, the fact that you didn't know all this stuff, was that a good thing?
Yeah, it definitely was a good thing, yeah, because now I'm just rebuilding engines left and right, you know, so it's cool. It's cool to be like that much, have that much knowledge now, you know, to know how to work on your own car. So if it wasn't for this car, I'd still be like putting on bolt-ons and shit like that. So this car really helped me out to get more experience in cars. I went to school afterwards, to work on cars, and that's now become like a hobby / job.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So something else came out of it.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, David, so tell us, what do we got going on? First of all, what's the color code or the name of the color?
Color code, I don't even know. Color code is off of, I like Arizona green teas, like the cans, like, you know, to drink. So I went to the body shop did the paint, and they did all the body work for me. I only did the engine work, like all mechanical stuff I did. Went to the body shop, they're like, what color do you want it? I was kind of like confused what I really wanted. And she's like, why don't you get it that color? She's like, you like to, because I had these already. She's like, you like to wear that color anyways. So I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And then I took them a can of Arizona green tea. I'm like, hey, make my car this color. And here you go.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Wow. So that's the color code, I guess, Arizona green tea. I don't know.
We're glad you weren't drinking Tecate that day.
Yeah.
The car would be black and red.
Yeah. No Tecate. No Tecate for sure.
All right, so then tell us, It comes with the factory flares, or you added those, or?
No, they don't come with flares at all. The flares, what you see is what the body shop did. They molded everything on there, and not only did they mold it, so it's not just all Bondo, but they did like sheet metal work.
That's awesome.
All across the whole thing. So it's not just Bondo, it's all sheet metal done. And they did a beautiful job. So shout out to them. Digital Auto Body and Customs. You guys did an awesome job on this car.
That's awesome, man. So then the front end, was it everything complete, or did you have to do a little bit of hunting?
No, everything was complete. That was
nice.
one of the main reasons I got this car. It had a lot of things already. It had the mirrors up front on the fenders.
Which I'm assuming very hard to find.
You could get them now online,
Okay.
but they're like $400, a pretty penny. So I didn't have to. Yeah, I didn't have to waste money on that. It did come with the original emblem, so I'm happy it came with this GT symbol, this emblem.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard to find. Like now they just make reproductions of them because they're like $400 if you do find one. The smiley bumpers, it came with those. I got the smiley bumper in the front, in the back. Like I said, the rear lip was done. The whole molding was done by the body shop, and it's just that. It's just simple, just a lip. The smiley bumpers, the original emblems, and just keep it simple, man.
And so obviously you mentioned the smiley bumpers. I'm not very familiar at all with this car, so obviously there's different options for you to maybe mold some different type of bumpers or whatever.
People sought out these smiley bumpers because like the years 74 and up, they had like big old bumper stops. So in case you would crash, they had like a big old, I don't know, like a big old rubber piece on it.
But it's not the easiest on the eyes. So aesthetically,
you want these
the
bumpers.
More tucked in. Oh, that's
the
pretty
more
cool.
tucked in version.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
And what do you got for suspension?
Suspension, I have Techno Toy Tuning. They're weld-on coilover kit. Yeah, they sell like a weld-on kit. You could just weld on a perch to it, put a coil on top, put the spring on top, put the shock in the middle, and pretty much make your own coilovers using their kit.
Speaking of that, how hard is it to find aftermarket support for these cars? I'm assuming...
They're the best probably company to go to right now.
Okay.
Techno Toy Tuning. Anything for like old school stuff, really. Techno Toy Tuning has you covered.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, shout out to those guys. They're always putting in like they're always finding like new cars, new platforms, but old school platforms, and they try to help us out quite a bit. And if you don't if you need something specific for your car, you can call them and they can make it to your specifics.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good to know, right?
Yeah,
Especially for those that are trying to build an old school Datsun, Toyota, Nissan, whatever. Okay, so any other suspension goodies that you have?
Just the T3 front coilovers in the back. I just have springs, some Swift springs in the back, and that's all it is for suspension. Wheels and tires. It came with these wheels and tires when I bought this car. So I've had this car for like 4 years, and I've never changed wheels or tires on this thing. That's how much I drive it.
Now the wheels, not even tires.
Not even the tires, man. The same original tires I bought it with.
You're crazy. The wheels look exactly like this. You didn't finish them?
No, I didn't do nothing to them.
Oh wow. Okay.
I didn't do nothing to them.
Do you know what the wheels are and the specs?
15x8s all around. They're XXRs, the fake Watanabes, and that's it. I mean, if anything, I'd probably swap the wheels out for some work equips. Some the 01 styles, the little crucitas. Those are the best ones.
What specs would you go with?
Probably the same.
Okay.
Maybe something sticking out a little bit more.
A little bit wider?
Yeah, that or just get some meteor tires. Probably about it.
Oh, it looks beautiful, man.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thanks.
So then, now tell us about this piece right here. Did you added that? As opposed to not adding just like a mud flap, or?
Exactly. Yeah. That was all thought out by the body shop. They're like, why don't we do this on it instead of like, because what it is, it's just normally just cut right here, you know?
Right.
It just goes straight with the body lines.
No,
so
I like it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I like their, their inputs that they had for building the car. So really appreciate them for taking their time.
It had all the chrome moldings and everything?
It had all the chrome moldings.
Damn, so it wasn't pretty to look at, but it
wasn't
was
pretty, but I knew I had something to work with. And the louvers came with it.
The louvers came with it as well?
The louvers came with it. These are original too.
How far did you have to drive to pick this one up?
I picked this up in South Central. to be honest.
Oh, okay, so it was about an hour, 2-hour drive for you.
Yeah,
Okay. But it
2 hour
was in
drive
LA.
for me, but it was in LA, so nothing new to me.
Okay.
And then again, the GT 5-speed emblem back in the back.
Man. How about the rear trunk wing or
The spoiler, it also came with it, but it was really damaged. It's just like a TR, I don't know if it's a TRD knockoff or original TRD, but a lot of the things on this car are original, so I'm hoping it is. But if not, I mean, it still looks fresh.
No, yeah, definitely. And then now I know the smiley rear bumper.
The smiley rear bumper, yeah.
It tucks it in really nicely. Wow. What kind of exhaust system do you have?
Exhaust is just a full custom exhaust. Not really the best, but the piping's about maybe 2 inches at the most, you know? And just a random universal muffler.
All right, David, so tell us a little bit about the interior. What do we got going on?
Interior, let's see. We have, these seats are not original. They came with the car, but I made some special ghetto brackets. And at the time I didn't have a welding machine, so I just like drilled holes, kind of put nuts together and bolts, and because I needed it to go further back. So kept these seats. I'm still kind of looking for original seats, but they're really hard to find. Everything else is original.
Nice.
Door cards. It has the original GT steering wheel, and I don't want to take that off because it's an original piece to a GT model. The GT shift knob, just everything pretty much is original, and I like the way Toyota made it back in the day, and it's just like walking into a time machine, you know? Nothing but leather. You get that smell, that rustic carburetor smell too when you turn it on. It's the best. And back seats too, all original. I had a sub, I throw a sub in there, you know, just to make it a little bit more friendly on the road, at least for my ears. And then as you can see, Toyota, when they built this car, they added like a lot of stock gauges to it. They put the fuel gauge, of course. You got your oil temp. Oh no, you got your regular temp for your coolant. That actually tells you the temperature that it would be at. And then it has a voltmeter or an amp meter, and it has an oil pressure.
It's pretty cool for a 70s.
For a 70s, yeah. For a 70s, it's pretty awesome.
So I'm assuming there's the base model and then there's this GT version, right?
Yeah, it went base model, I want to say ST, LT,
oh wow,
GT, and then the GTV, which is only found like in Japan or whatever.
Oh wow. Okay.
And GTV that was just like the all out, and it had like weight reduction stuff. But for me, I was just happy finding a GT model.
Wow. Woo. So you definitely took care of the engine compartment, huh?
Yeah.
So tell us, man, what are we staring at? Because it's beautiful.
Yep. Okay, so this is what I did. It's a 22, like I said, it's a 20R head off of a 78 Corona and a 22R block from an 82 Celica. So a lot of people like to make hybrid motors just because you get a better flow rate off the head, and you still get the big displacement of the 2.4 bottom end. Headers came with the car. So when I bought the car, it had kind of like the same setup, but the guy sold me a junker because when I couldn't even make it home. It's all putting all the way home, and then like one random day when I'm going to 7-Eleven, it just blows up on me.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I picked this up at the junkyard real quick and rebuilt it in my backyard. And what the things I put in there, I mean, from the outside that you could tell, it's the headers, Canon intake manifold, the 2-barrel with the Weber carb, and this funky little air cleaner, MSD coils, magnet core spark plugs. A lot of a big supporter for Toyota vehicles, or at least the 22R engines, is LC Engineering.
Okay.
And they make a lot of aftermarket parts for our engines. So inside I have some LCE goodies. I have a LCE big stage 2 cam.
Oh, nice.
Spring retainers from LCE. I have their adjustable cam gear. So I have the timing advanced by 2 on the cam. And their distributor, got the intake manifold from them. And that's pretty much about it. And I just made sure I was meticulous with, like, when I rebuilt the engine, to make sure I replaced everything on it. Everything, even the water plugs and everything. And then of course, I cleaned it all off and I spray painted it. And
you resprayed the engine bay, right?
And I resprayed the engine bay, yeah.
Wow. What are the future plans for the engine compartment?
Future plans for this thing. I don't know, man. It's running really solid. I don't even want to mess with it. You know, once you start tinkering with things, I guess the exhaust would be, like I told you, just replace that, get something more easier for me to mess with in case I want to take it off.
Right.
But so far, it's been really good. I probably have maybe 2,000 miles on this motor because I don't really drive it much, but it's solid. It's taken me quite a bit of long trips.
David, thank you so much, man. Yeah, thank you for reaching out to me. 1, 2, it definitely brings a lot of happiness to me to know that there's people like yourself is still tinkering with these cars. There's not that many cars that look like this ever, and the fact that you're saving them, and there's companies like you mentioned, Techno Toy Tuning, who are still trying to produce parts for it to keep them on the road. It just brings a lot of joy, man. So any future plans you may have forgotten about, and any shout outs?
Future plans, just fix like the little knickknacks that I know are wrong with it, especially the exhaust, take that out to get a better unit. And it's a pretty solid car, bro.
And any shout outs?
Shout outs to the girlfriend, shout outs to my kids, shout outs to Techno Toy Tuning. It's pretty much about it. I mean, that's all I can pretty much think of off the top of my head. Girlfriend a lot though, like she put in work, mad work. Like when I was underneath the engine, trying to put the transmission in, she'd be there with the jack, like, holy yeah, making sure everything's going right. So every time I need like a third hand, she's the one to go to. So definitely shout out to the girlfriend.
Oh, we love that, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, dude, thank you so much, honestly. I absolutely love this car.
Thank you,
It's
thank
definitely
you.
one of the OGs, and so can't wait to see you on the road, man, and can't wait for you to be able to get all the interior parts that you were looking for. But thank you so much for reaching out to me, and I can't wait to see this on the road, man.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thanks for doing this for us, for the car community. It's cool to get someone humble out here and doing what you do, doing what you love, you know?
Honestly,
Great burn.
Honestly, the idea that you think that they get girls in these cars, it's all dudes that show up to them.
Right?
So it's all dudes. What's up, bro? Nice car.
If anything, I'll pick up on a dude, Daisy.
So you were saying, David, that you kind of made cars into a career. So tell us a little bit about like what is it that you do and where you're located in case somebody was to want to get some type of some work from you.
Yeah, so mainly, you know, I do a lot of simple jobs. I work out of the AV area mainly, but I do travel. I do have my truck and I do go around the cities, the different cities, sometimes out here to the greater LA area, and do different jobs for different people, whether it's an alternator, they need a head gasket done, whatever it may be. And occasionally I get those people that come around and they want a swap done. I'll go ahead and help them out with that too. Any type of, just bumper to bumper, electrical, whatever it may need. And you guys can get a hold of me through my Instagram, or I also have Facebook, and it's always either word of mouth, but I also have like through the marketplace, I post my services on there.
That's awesome, man. Cool.
But definitely, I mean, that is a reason why I sold my newer, that's in my evil way, is to get something old school, just because I know I'm getting old myself. And it's,
Get out of here.
yeah, man, it's
You're like 18 years old. Okay,
And
crazy.
and it's something, just it's a cruiser. I know I don't have to hit it hard, and it's going to be around for a long time. And I think that's what happens with a lot of us people that are into Japanese vehicles. You know, you start off with your newer type of cars, you get a Type R, you get blah blah blah, but in the end, like, once you get older, you start looking at the classic Japanese vehicles, and you're always like, dang, I really wish I had a 240Z, or
Mhm.
you know, old school Celica or old school Corolla, old school Datsun, a 510, something like that. And just to be able to bring those cars out and make them shine again, that's true beauty right there.
So is there another car that you would want to build? I mean, you mentioned the Honda, but like, let's say something even a little bit older than that. Or what would be your next project, I guess?
Probably like a little mini truck. I would like to get like a Toyota Hilux.
Oh.
And then like a 70s, drop that. Probably put like a beam swap in there, like a resto mod. And
Static, bags?
static.
Okay.
Static. Not really into the bags.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Not that
cool.
old yet, bro.
We'll see.